And I will say, I'll start off with this. And I didn't want to start this way, but I'm going to do it because I want to give my ups to him, and I have it written down here. But let me just tell you this right now. Justin Herbert is quietly having the best statistical season of any quarterback in the NFL right now. 0 picks, 9 touchdowns, 1,000 yards passing. Justin, you're playing great. You got one of the worst coaches in the NFL, and because of that, you guys are going to go 8-9, and he'll get fired. He should have lost this game. It would have been. I'm glad you won. I'm glad the Chargers won because I am a Herbert fan, and I want the Chargers to be good. I'd rather them be good than the Chiefs because we hate dynasties, but we need them and we love them, and I love the Chiefs. But that coaching call to not punt and put the Vikings in a situation where they should have won is just. I mean, there was 2 very bad coaching calls, and one was by the Raiders and McDaniels by kicking a field goal, not going for a touchdown late in last night's game. And the second, actually the first worst one, was Staley not punting the ball, and nobody could wrap their head around it. And for whatever reason, they got bailed out by the defense finally, and they're 1-2, and now look, they're right back in it because this whole AFC, there's only one undefeated team in the AFC, Miami Dolphins. But everyone else is 2-1 or 1-2, so you're only a game back technically, and there's a lot of playoff teams potential. Vikings 0-3, going to be harder. Again, we'll get more into that game, but maybe we should just do it right now. You know, that was the game of the 0-2 games. Whoever lost is in for a long season. Although, you know, the NFC is more wide open. I do still think the Vikings can turn it around and have some sort of comeback year. We've seen it before, very hard at 0-3. But now they have to go on like a good 4-game win streak. And if we pull up their schedule, let's just pull up the Vikings schedule and see if it's possible or if it's about to get very dirty.
They got the Panthers next week.
So they have the Panthers. They got the Chiefs. That's an L. But could they upset them? Now, you got to hope for an upset right now. But you got the Panthers and you got the Bears. So that's 2 of the next 3. You could technically be 2-4.
Niners. So that's... If they beat Niners aren't going to go undefeated.
Sure, but then you have the Packers and the Falcons. Here's their only hope. They got to upset the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're looking at a 2-4 record going into San Francisco. And then you have the Packers in Green Bay, and you have in Atlanta, then you have the Saints. It's not looking good for you guys. The only chance Vikings fans have to having a comeback year and making the playoffs is you're going to win next week, so you're going to be 1-3. Cool. But figure something out. If you can upset the Chiefs, we'll get back on the bandwagon. But as a team of the Michael Lenoci show, and I speak for Anthony when I say this, we're off. We don't think you're making the playoffs right now, and we think it's a disaster. Love your head coach. But maybe this is a blessing in disguise because you got a lot of great quarterbacks coming out of the draft, and you're going to be up there.
But, dude, the Vikings looked great. I mean,
do they?
They look – I mean – you'd be saying the same exact thing about like if Herbert lost, if the Chargers lost, you should be saying Herbert looked great though.
Well, yeah. He's not. I mean Cousins did throw a pick, and you know he was a little off.
Wasn't one of those picks tipped, or was that? Yeah.
The point being though, their schedule is not as favorable, and 0-3. I think they said there's a 1% chance of you making the playoffs with a. I mean, he is. He's still statistically Kirk Cousins. Has 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 1,000 yards. Those, by the way, are identical to Tua's numbers. Yeah. Different teams, though. His QBR is 59.7. That's the difference, bro. That's a big difference. So what does that mean?
More yards than Tua and Herbert.
But his QBR is 59.7. That's the difference.
Wow.
So that is the difference right there, sir. So he's not having a good season in a way. Herbert.
He got 8 sacks. Jesus Christ. Stroud's got sacked 11 times.
He's throwing a lot of fucking incomplete passes. That's the problem with Cousins. Okay. And they're 0-3, and we're not on that team. But we are back on the Chargers thing, although the coaching, now I'm on the coaching bandwagon of this is bad. This is not that good. And there's a problem. But we like Herbert. We sure do.
Yeah, they got so many weapons too.
They got so many weapons, but listen, man, you can't have $200 million on defense and be losing.
Yeah, J.C. Jackson, see what happened to him?
Benched, basically, right?
Well, because he had a arrest warrant in Massachusetts.
He's been a very big disappointment for them. He's been a very big disappointment for the Chargers, and they got something to worry about.
But they still got. I mean, they still got Derwin James. They got Asante Samuel. They got
a
Joey
lot
Bosa,
of. That's what I'm saying.
or Nick Bosa.
That's what I'm saying.
Joey Bosa. Sorry.
Yeah. But you can't. That's the whole point. You can't be spending all that money and be 1-2.
Yeah,
You can't. You're out.
It seems like every one of their games are just going to be real. Come down to the end.
It can't be. You can't be paying that much for a defense and it be that close. You need to fucking shut down on offense.
Yeah.
You can't have that defense, and that's the problem. And listen, they're 1-2. They still got to play the Chiefs twice. They got to play probably a lot of other second-place teams that they either got to play. They got to play the Ravens probably because they came in second. They got to play the Titans, which I guess that's easy now. You know?
You're right.
They already lost to the Dolphins. That's an AFC conference game. So they're already behind in conference record.
Yeah.
And they lost to the Titans already. They already lost 2 conference games.
Jesus.
So they lost to the Titans and Dolphins. And their one win is against a non-conference opponent, which is the one game that doesn't matter at all for them. Those are the games you should be allowed to lose.
Yeah.
They don't affect your playoff race. So they still have a chance, though, to turn it around.